two neighbors separated by less than 3 miles collide. Texas Southern crosses the highway to South Main to take on the Rice Owls. And a pleasant good evening. Sean Kenny alongside LaDara McClain. Great to have you with us. LD, certainly not the start Rice was hoping for last week. They get pounded here at home by Sam Houston. Expect some urgency tonight.
Yeah, never the way you want to start the year for sure, Sean, but it was a productive week. Guys responded the right way, and guys holding each other accountable. And if you look at what they were doing last week against Sam Houston, they were giving up big plays. It really didn't get the offense going. Look for a turnaround tonight against a very high confident Texas Southern team tonight.
The explosive play was certainly missing a week ago. Dean Connors touched the ball 21 times, but failed to rip a big one off like we saw him do quite frequently a year ago.
Yeah, when you look at his career, the coaches always say he's been a great leader. He's always the vocal guy, but they just need him to be consistent. They did run the ball very well. Only 2.6 yards per carry, but he did lead a career as a lead in receptions last week with 9 receptions. Look for him to get productive both running and passing the ball tonight. He's always been an impact player, and when you think about how this game was lost a week ago, it starts with the defense. The defense has to be dominant. And you look at Charlie Lewis, the grad transfer from Dartmouth, a big, physical, imposing defensive lineman that's got to make his presence felt tonight for this defense and this team as a whole to get the win, the first win of the season tonight.
Third meeting between these two programs. Texas Southern coming off a huge win last week as they were able to take down Prairie View A&M. Chris Dishman and the Tigers arriving with a lot of confidence. There is Dishman, year one. What a way to start his head coaching career. Rice trying to get back on the winning track. Back-to-back home games to open up this new season. Won the toss. They elected to defer, so it will be Texas Southern and this offense to get the party started here tonight. Last week, there were a couple of last-second changes with the Tigers. KJ Cooper, who was listed third on the depth chart, started the game. A lot of people thought it might be Jace Wilson. Cooper got injured late in the contest in that win against Prairie View A&M. So the Tigers will go with Jace Wilson at the 25-yard line, and a play fake for Wilson, who rolls right. Pressure coming, and he's just forced to throw it away. There is a flag along the sideline. Donald McKinney was all tied up. So Rice starts the game with the defensive holding call. Sean Fresh, the corner, guilty with the hold. And there is Jace Wilson, the junior, the 5'11" 178-pounder. A lot of people thought he would open the season as the starter. Second team All-SWAC, a team captain as voted on by his teammates this year. So after the penalty from the 35, Wilson will hand the ball off. Up through that right side goes Danny Green Jr. Let's go ahead, take a look at tonight's players to watch, brought to you by Regions Bank. And we just saw Danny Green get the first touch.
Yeah, it's a lot of upside for Danny Green. Had a fantastic game last week against Prairie View. 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to be an impactful player tonight. And Josh Piercy, what else can you say about this young man? He's been a captain. He's a 5-year starter, a preseason second-team All-American Conference individual on defense. And so he's going to be leading the way tonight for the Rice Owls.
Green, a freshman, not even listed on the depth chart last week before he had that strong performance. Second down and some movement up front. Some early action for tonight's officials. James Jones headlining this AAC crew. Well, D, you look at this Texas Southern program, a huge win last week over Prairie View, and that was something they had circled as one of their key goals coming in as Chris Dishman looks to rebuild this program. Only 28 winning seasons in 77 years, and to win the 39th edition of the Labor Day Classic, certainly a terrific start to his career.
When you just talked to the coaches this week, it was a lot of confidence, right? They believe in their guys, and Coach Dishman himself said every job is up for grabs, and so that creates an intensity. That creates some competitiveness every single week, and not only just the players, it's the coaches. So the coaches have to meet the challenge every single week, and that's how you breed a winning culture for sure.
You talk about paying your dues. Certainly that can be told for Chris Dishman, 13-year NFL veteran, and then over 19 years of college and professional coaching experience. Prior to his arrival here in Houston over the holidays, he had spent the last 3 years as the defensive coordinator in the XFL with the Vegas Vipers.
It's a lot of experience, not only with Coach Dishman, his staff, and I know we'll probably talk about that throughout the course of this game, but anytime you've got players that have been at the next level, that gets the kids' attention as well, and so far so good with the 1-0 start to this year.
Texas Southern using an early timeout. Wilson on the design draw up the middle, and he runs into the waiting arms of Blake Banish.
And that's a great defensive play inside, and that's the one thing with Jace Wilson. He's a little bit smaller than KJ Cooper, so you're going to see a lot of the called quarterback draws. And this defense, Banish, being a redshirt junior, his third career start against Sam Houston last week, shows you some of that experience right there, making that play.
One of the emotional leaders for this Rice defense, forcing an early third down. He's a powerhouse in the weight room, a state champion in powerlifting. Some of the beef up front for this Rice defense. Third down, they bring a blitz, picked up. Wilson on Cork's near side, drop. It applied as well. Good job that time coming in by Marcus Williams to apply the pop.
And this is a win all the way around for this defense. Anytime you can disguise what you're doing pre-snap and then post-snap you jumped into something else, that's always going to get the quarterback a little bit skittish. And you see the dump down into the flat. Even if he would have caught it, would have never been enough for a first down. But that's a great opening series for this Rice Owls defense.
See if they come after it. 10 guys at the line of scrimmage. Christian Avillard gets the wobbler away. Sean Fresh will survey from the 30. Fresh with breakaway speed has the corner. Flag flies as Fresh tiptoes his way up to the 36, but a flag down back near the 40-yard line, so hold the boat on the return by Fresh.
And there was a offensive return holding right about the 41, 42-yard line. Pretty blatant.
So that'll wipe out the 36-yard return. The Rice defense does their job. These fans anxious to see what the Owl offense can do when we come back. On first down, they will try. from Houston, Rice and Texas Southern, and there is E.J. Warner. For the second straight year, the Owls have went to a high-profile transfer to take over this program. Warner with a couple of record-setting years at Temple, the son of Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner. And now game number 2, wearing the Rice colors. On first down, they will try to get this offensive line established as Dean Connors has a good hole over the left side. Gain of 7 for the senior.
And that's a little bit of a better look there. Great start to this drive. The offensive line establishing themselves already this week. And anytime you can get Dean Connors committed running north and south, he's a very, very difficult running back to slow down.
Second down, Warner rolls right, throws that way. One of his favorite targets is Groom, the tight end. And a first down for the Owls as we take a look at tonight's players to watch, brought to you by Regions Bank.
Well, when you look at it, Sean, we've already talked about how this defense has got some players, but Jacob Williams might be the best of them all. A preseason first-team all-SWAC defensive player. Look for him to make plays all over the field. And if you look offensively, Matt Sykes, we talked about Connors. We're going to talk about E.J. Warner, but I think the passing game has to be effective tonight. And Matt Sykes, with 6 catches, a career best last week, can do it.
Yeah, he stepped up when they really needed him to. This receiving core depleted right now with injuries as Warner keeps it, ended up near the 41-yard line. Good gain for E.J. Warner. Junior out of Phoenix, Arizona, made the decision to transfer last December. He told us he made a 2-day visit down here to Rice. Took about a week to decide once he flew back home with family, and just really enjoys the culture that Mike Bloomgrim has built. Second down, straight up the middle of the first down carry as Connors plows his way ahead. Run down by Keelan Cox.
I want to keep your eye on the interior of this offensive line. No matter how good your 5 guys are, it starts with the center. And David Stipple, a transfer from Florida State, number 64. He's kind of the head of the snake, and he's doing a great job so far, taking on the nose tackle, sometimes the inside 1-2, 1 technique and 3 techniques, and it's creating some nice room so far.
He was a walk-on at Florida State. Played 14 games over his 3 years with the Seminoles. First down, out pattern, and mistiming the jump was Walker. So not only a transfer at center, but good news for Rice. They get the services of Chad Lindbergh for the first time. He was part of 2 national championship runs at Georgia.
Yeah, you want to talk about getting right in a matter of a week. When you add 69 to this offensive line, and keep in mind, the coaches already felt good about this offensive line coming into the season to begin with, but coming off last week, you insert some that experience and that talent, you got to feel good about tonight.
Warner gets rid of it quickly, swings it out, making the catch at the 30. Defender missed down the sideline to the 15, all the way ahead to the 13-yard line. Gain of 23 to Braylon Walker, brought down by Whitley.
Yeah, here it is. You've got the orbital motion, so you've got the receiver going all in the backfield, so you kind of lose track of him. And this is what this offense is capable of doing, and that's a nice big play that we didn't see a week ago, Sean. And Tuiasosopo opening up the playbook early.
Drayton Dickman in motion. Out of the I formation, Micah Barnett is checked in. He'll be the lead block decoy as he turns into a receiver here. The big fullback with a rare catch. Upended, a touchdown saving tackle is made by Canary Simmons.
And the fullback is kind of a lost art in football today, but Coach Bloomgren, an old school mentality himself. Hey, let's get the fullback in action. And that play action pass with the defense trying to commit to stop the run, you're going to have those open in the flat for sure.
Barnett, a rare touch, started his career as a walk-on. Actually, his best game in his career last year against this Texas Southern team. He'll block this time. Connors right up the middle, across for the touchdown. And the Owl offense gets it going early.
Well, you want to talk about, John, a statement drive. Again, they only scored 14 points last week. 47 yards rushing in the game against Sam Houston, but they came out determined to establish this running game, and this is the cap off of it here. This offensive line taking control of the line of scrimmage, and Dean Connors going in there and finishing it off.
Very efficient, 8 plays, 68-yard drive, little more than 3.5 minutes off the game clock. Dean Connors really burst onto the scene a year ago for this Rice offense. The do-it-all running back showing some power to finish the few steps here as the Owls fire the opening salvo. Heavy hearts around Rice Stadium this week as Wayne Graham, the architect of Rice's rise to the top of college baseball, passed away this week in Austin, Texas. He was a legend of the sport, winning close to 1,200 games across 27 seasons. He led the Owls to 23 consecutive NCAA appearances, including 7 College World Series appearances in 12 years, leading Rice to their first NCAA title. He was 88. Certainly a sad week around campus. Earlier in the warm-ups, Mike Bloomgren had a baseball jersey with the last name Graham on the back. All these coaches talked about what he meant, not just the sport of baseball, but to the winning culture at Rice, and he will be missed. Big pop on special teams as the Owls are certainly playing with that urgency we talked about at the open.
Yeah, and sometimes in a loss, you kind of have that moment to say, hey, we need to pull things together. You know, we talked about the practice this week, and yes, they've come out with some intensity and some fire. And now this defense has a chance to keep this thing going.
So the second offensive series for Texas Southern. Jace Wilson out there, the newcomer of the year a season ago in the SWAC. Really similar situation, deja vu for him. He took over the starting role in Game 2 last year when Andy Body went down with a season-ending injury. And now here he is trying to lead this offense as he hands it off to the freshman Danny Green, who takes it up near the 20.
Well, I think you open up some things, obviously, with Jace Wilson at quarterback because, you know, KJ Cooper, he has a ton of mobility, but he likes to stay in the pocket. He's 6'5", 215, whereas Wilson is 5'8", 178, give or take. So he's a little bit more of an addition to the running game, perhaps. So I wouldn't be surprised we see a lot of read option, we see some more traditional option plays. We've already seen the quarterback draw in this offense tonight.
Quarterback run was an area Rice struggled mightily last week with Sam Houston. Throw and catch, Donald McKinney with the grab, about a yard shy of the first down. McKinney, the graduate student out of L.A.
Yeah, this is a nice job by McKinney to just stem the defensive back up, push him, and then put a foot in the ground and come back, and that pass is out on time. And really nothing a defensive back can do at that stance. And Sean, to me, I think this is a critical third down. I know it's the only second possession of the game, but the way that offensive Rice went up and down the field, you've got to convert here to keep your defense on the sideline and rest.
Big bodies up front for Rice, and they will keep it. Green runs into his own blocker, and he is swallowed up, and he won't get there. Cut down by a host of Owls led by Josh Piercy.
Hey, Banish is a problem. Look at him clog up the middle. He's the first guy to break penetration, and once he did that, you know, the run play is dead because really nowhere the running back could have went, and then you've got the rest of the defense in. It starts up front. That's what they lacked a week ago, and you can see the difference early.
Piercy, the three-time captain, the coaches turned to him pretty heavily this week to become a vocal leader, an emotional leader for this team. High snap, and the kick is partially blocked, getting a hand on it. And this one will roll out of bounds at the 46. So a tough start on the road for Texas Southern. There's a flag down as well, so we'll wait and see what this is about. But special teams making the impact, as that was Stevens who was able to get a hand on it. He went up and over. A.J. Stevens with the block. Our officials discussing the penalty around midfield.
That's a pretty incredible play by Stevens because there were three protectors in front of the punter, but he was still able to break through and get something on that punt. That was incredible.
Number 10. Penalty enforcement. Kick. 10 yards. First down. Media.
Well, that won't make Rice happy. 2 punt returns, 2 penalties for the Owls. The block by Stevens. Bloomgren's Owls looking sharp early.
point from A.J. Stevens actually is, this should never happen. He's lined up on the left. He's just going to go through to make sure there's not a fake. But the key about this is that he athletically jumps over those guys, and he gets a hand on it. That's never should happen when you're punting the ball away and you're a personal protector. But again, a very athletic play by Stevens.
Yeah, the athleticism for the redshirt freshman who utilized his red shirt last year, did not play a single snap, and now a key part of the special teams unit along with a backup cornerback, and he sets up Rice in terrific shape.
And, you know, little things like that through the course of the game, that's the difference in winning and losing, especially if it comes down to a tight ball game. The little attention to details a lot of times can make the difference.
No real surprise, LD. You knew Rice was going to make a steady focus on giving number 0 some touches running the football. 4 carries, 23 yards, including that touchdown run thus far. Play clock winding down.
There is no flag for delay game. The play clock is set to 25 at the end of the play. Should have been set to 40. Second down.
Okay.
James Jones.
Hey, thank you.
With our explanation. Chris Dishman. Mike Bloomgren, year number 7, the Tallahassee native. Had all those years at Stanford where the Cardinal were just running wild in the Pac-12. Second down, going up is Gruen, his second catch of the day, but he is tackled immediately. Excellent job by Canary Simmons.
Yeah, Canary Simmons, he's a fine football player, the senior, and he recognizes this right away. That's his man, right? He's got to be able to protect himself for anything going out in the flat, but he's got to make that tackle because there's not a lot of defenders in behind him.
Third-generation player for Texas Southern. Family heritage when you see the name Canary Simmons. First third down to the quarter for Rice. They need to get it to the 46. 4-man rush, all sorts of time. Warner picks and chooses, and it's Walker with the grab and a first down on the plus territory.
Yeah, this is a really nice job by E.J. Warner. He's patient, but look at the pass protection. He wants to go right to Gruen, right in the middle, but he comes back door. And that's the dig across the middle of the field, and Braylon Walker's on time. And that's a nice conversion there for the Rice Owls.
Lively arm from Warner, who broke Temple records in his 2 seasons. Over 6,000 yards, 41 touchdown passes for Temple. Connors slips free, gets to the corner, and then he is plowed out of bounds by Josiah Hardman, but a good double-digit gallop. Another flag down, though.
Yeah, and his play initially wants to go inside, but he saw some room to the outside, and he gets there very quickly. Makes a guy miss. Unfortunately, it is going to come back from a holding error.
First down.
Yeah, really the only weakness, the kink in the armor this first quarter has been the penalties for Rice. It's now 4 in this opening period.
Yeah, you look at the offensive coordinator, Marquez Tuiasosopo. This guy, you can tell he's intense. We talked to him in the this week, and you know he felt like his offensive line was slightly disappointing last week. And so the emphasis this week for these guys was to be physical, right? And these guys have responded, and I think they've done a great job of that early in this first half.
So after the penalty, back at the 39, play fake. Warner zips it across the middle. Another drag pattern caught. Matt Sykes, who had a career game last week with his 6 catches. He holds it in. Should be good enough for another first down.
Yeah, it's always great when you've got a quarterback that can see the field so clearly as E.J. Warner. He comes off the initial read, and you're right. It's a backside drag across the field, and Matt Sykes being patient, not sprinting too much, kind of shutting it down in the hole in that zone defense.
Warner talked with us about how comfortable he is.
Please set the game clock to 3-3-2.
They're going to do some more adjusting with the game clock, but A.J. Warner talked about this receiving core building chemistry, and you know from your quarterback days, he arrives, after the holidays, has the spring and then the fall camp to get acclimated, not just with a new receiving core, but a new center as well.
Yeah, and a lot, just the offense in general, right? And I think they picked it up pretty quickly, and he looks very comfortable, and his receivers seem to be in sync with him thus far.
First down, they'll take a shot, looking for Sykes, goes up, he makes the catch, but was he in bounds? Tug of war along the sideline. Sykes ends up with it. He was battling the entire way with Xavier Player, but he was out of bounds.
And that's just good football on both sides. Player is covering pretty good here. He's in great position, and right now you just want to give your guy a chance to make a play, and Sykes almost comes down, but it looks like it's a tie going to the ground, even though it's out of bounds. Yeah, that's just good coverage, good play by Sykes as well.
Second year at Rice for Sykes, who transferred in from the West Coast at UCLA. They will swing it out. Walker's been active, makes the first defender miss, crumbled at the 20-yard line. Brought down by Jamerson Derensburg.
Yeah, I think Marquez Tuiasosopo is calling a nice early game. He's trying to get his skill players out in space, Sean. That puts a stress on any defense, right? If you're the #1 defense in the nation, you got guys running wide open in the flats and in space with some skill. That's going to put stress. Big third down here for this Tigers defense.
Tajee Atkins, the exciting freshman, is checked into the game. He lines up to Warner's left. He will get the call, zigzagging his way near that first down stick, but he has stood up and driven back, and he will be short. Good job interior-wise that time by Texas Southern.
Yeah, that's a really nice job. You see the big fella in the middle, Thurman Rayborn, big number 95. He's just in there clogging things up, making it difficult.
Rice lined up, ready to go, 4th and a yard. You see Texas Southern allowed to get their substitutions onto the field. A diamond package, maybe a tush-push opportunity here. The two big heavyweights, Hargan and Barnett, behind Warner. Drop the snap, gets the ball off, and it wasn't pretty, but Rice will keep the drive alive.
How about that? Wow. That just shows you how good of a push the offensive line actually had. Yeah, I've always, when you go under center as a quarterback, the center is trying to get as low as he possibly can and get a push just like that. You don't get the snap, but look how quickly the recovery was.
Rice.
Hey, you got to have some things go your way. You got to have the ball bounce your way from time to time.
Mike Bloomgren breathing a little easier. He knows his team dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, if you're the Tigers defense, now you got to find a way to maybe minimize some of these gains that this offense is doing. Now you got to try to force a field goal if you can. And I think that's why they may try to burn one here.
Timeout. Texas Southern.
Texas Southern will burn their second timeout in this opening quarter. Chris Dishman trying to realign his defensive squad. ESPN Plus is the place to catch all the American Conference action this fall. ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 200 soccer and volleyball matches, including the all-important conference championships. Also home to All-American, the weekly show highlighting AAC football, airing every Wednesday at 11 Eastern. For more information and to catch all the action, sign up today, ESPNplus.com/AAC. Week 2 of the college football season. Rice sitting at 0-1 this year. Solid opening quarter. They have dominated statistically, 119 yards of offense, just 13 for Texas Southern. Concerned look right now on the opposite side for Billy Parker, defensive coordinator, who squad really dictated play with Prairie View a week ago.
You know, the one thing that stood out when we talked to him, he says, hey, how do we get to the third down that we want? And I was thinking that through the first part of this game. They have not been able to do that so far, just for the simple fact that Rice has been very effective on first down. Let's see how defensively they change things up here to slow this down.
Into the red zone. Warner out quickly. Connors with the stiff arm. Connors looking for number 2. Dives for the pylon. No word, and they're going to say he stepped out at the 4.
Man, I think they need to take a look at this again. I think he gets in the end zone. Now, it all depends when he took off, where that plant foot actually is. Here it is. This is a nice read. Just get the ball out to the flat. Let's see where he puts it down, because if he doesn't go out, he's clearly, yeah, right there. He probably shortchanged him a half a yard, but that's still a fantastic effort by Dean Connors.
Rice looking to punch it in for the second time. Warner zips it out. Turn around, and catch is made. Oh, what reaction by Braylon Walker as Warner put it in the only spot his guy could make the catch.
You know, when that pass left, I said, oh man, he threw it too wide, but it's a back shoulder fade. And the timing on this is impeccable, Sean. This is stuff that you have to practice hours and hours in the spring and the summer and even in fall camp to get that timing down. That was a fantastic throw, an adjustment and a catch there by Braylon Walker. Here it is. This pass is out before Walker even makes his move to turn. Nothing the defensive back can do there.
Walker has had himself an opening quarter. 4 catches, 47 yards. And another solid drive for Rice. 11 plays, 56 yards. Typically, when you throw back shoulder, there's some air to it. This was a laser from Warner.
Yeah, and this is just communication. If you're the inside receiver, you got to set it up. You saw a little bit of a pick there, kind of a rub route by Matt Sykes coming across. That's that little bit of a split-second extra yard, half a yard of separation, and allows Walker to do what he does there. And you got a quarterback as accurate as E.J. Warner. Man, that's tough to defend.
So EJ with the touchdown pass. His second touchdown throw is an owl, and it's a proud dad right now in Kurt Warner. 2017 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductee, Super Bowl champion. A lot of football, EJ told us, on the tube when he was growing up.
Well, now Kurt Warner is a great broadcaster. I think he's fantastic, you know, in the booth like us, and certainly on the NFL Network behind the desk. And awesome to see a Hall of Famer in the building today.
EJ was laughing. He said when I first showed up here, a lot of the guys wanted to go watch some movies, some old movies, and he had no clue what they were talking about because he said only football was on at the Warner household. It's been a slow start offensively for Texas Southern. The Tigers, their only first down coming on the very first play, a defensive penalty. Other than that, 3 and out. What do they need to do to get something started?
They got to figure out a way to get this run game going again. I thought they ran the ball very well. 37 attempts last week. They were nearly 4.5 yards per rush. They've got to be less predictable on first down. This defense is peeling their ears back and getting after the QB.
Stephen Smith trying to get this offense going as they swing it out. Trenton Leary with a gain of 2. The 47-year-old Smith, former NFL assistant, also XFL offensive coordinator, and he told us complacency is not dominance, and that was the message they tried to preach after that emotional win.
Man, I love that. I love the fact that he's letting his guys know, hey, we have got to be better even after a win. And right now they are up against it. They have not had much success today on first down, and now you kind of play into the hands of this defense.
On the read option, 2, maybe 3. And another third down. Damone Green sliding down from his defensive end position. Texas Southern will not have to take another snap if they don't want to.
I thought they were really good last week against Prairie View. They were 40% third down conversion. last week. So far, not that today.
Rice brings a blitz, and they're going to get to him back at the 17. Myron Morrison, the first one in there as the blitz gets to Wilson, and this Rice defense shining in all areas. Historic Rice Stadium, the backdrop. Dean Connors, the leader from a year ago, finding the end zone early. Warner with a touchdown pass. All Owls after one. stay perfect against the SWAC. 4-0 all-time. This is their third meeting against Texas Southern. A 14-0 lead for the Owls. As we move into the second quarter alongside Ladera McLean. Sean Kinney back with you from historic Rice Stadium. Avalar with his third punt of the night. Fresh signals for the fair catch at the 48. Well, D, this Rice defense last week able to get 7 sacks in the loss to Sam Houston. They have found it a point to put pressure on the quarterback early this season.
Yeah, and they've been able to do that, really, Sean, by being really good on first and second down. I thought they did a lot of good things last week, too, with 7 sacks you mentioned. But today, I think they've been able to be exotic, if you will, on defense because they've had TSU in second and long, third and long situations.
The second straight series, good starting position for Rice and E.J. Warner in this offense. Warner 9 of 11 for 89 yards. The touchdown pass to Walker. Third possession of the half, and they will run it to that right side. Atkins' knee went down. Tajee Atkins, a freshman from right here in Houston, joined the program this summer. Exciting player. He talked about the very first touch in fall camp. He took it 80 yards to the house, and they knew that they had a pretty special talent.
At a nearby Westfield High School, and boy, the upside for that young man is off the charts. They just don't want to overload him right now as a freshman. They just want him thinking about one thing, and that's letting things be natural.
Like Walker flinched from his receiver position.
False start. Offense. Number 81. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And you mentioned the workload for a freshman. Let's not forget, this is a tough offense. This pro-style offense, normally they were talking a year and a half to really fully absorb it.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point because the nuances get a little bit more tricky when you make the transition from high school to, especially going into college. The terminology is a big thing.
After the penalty, little bootleg. Now they throw it back on that screen try, but sniffed out beautifully by Texas Southern.
Yeah, I think that's a great job by this defense. Let's keep in mind, this is a very athletic defense. They've got some returning players. They've got 5 seniors on this defense, but watch the recognition here. Got a lot of penetration, and then right there, you got a tip pass. That's a fantastic job of not getting caught by the misdirection and the eye candy in the backfield. And Isaiah Bogarty making a great play there.
Yeah, they reloaded, especially depth this offseason, brought in a couple of transfers. They traveled 12 D linemen here tonight. They swing it out, nothing there. Pursuit defense. Stephon Wright from his defensive end position, able to make the play.
Yeah, that's a different series, right, Sean? Because what did we talk about early? Getting the third down that they wanted. And that's exactly what happens when you play sound defense on first and second. Now you can do anything you want defensively on third and long. And you saw there, great play by Stephon Wright.
Something positive to build on for the Tigers. They force a 3 and out after Rice had great field position. Alex Bachetta, his first year, the transfer from Penn State, as it lands inside the 5. Textbook for the Owls. A long road ahead for Texas Southern. They trail early, second quarter. Rice looking to bounce back after their season opening loss last week to the hands of Sam Houston, a 14-0 lead, and Texas Southern working from the shadows of their own goal line here. A terrific job by Bruschetta on the punt. 54-yard punt has the Tigers at their own 2-yard line.
Yeah, if you're the Tigers, you got to be careful down here. Your main objective is, one, protect the football, but you want to give yourself a little room here if you do have to end up punting.
Trying to get a little bit of space is Danny Green, and he is whipped down right there by Banish. We've called his name a couple of times in this first half.
Yeah, he's been disruptive, and that's exactly what you want from your interior defensive linemen. Just wreak havoc, make the center and the two guards have to work extra, because if you can do that and be disruptive, now you've got the guys on the sides of you and the linebackers behind you can have free runs for the running backs.
This offensive line, headlined by their center, Meaty Torrance. Second team preseason all SWAC, trying to figure out a way to carve some openings. Has not been easy. From his own end zone, he's going to take a shot deep downfield. Receiver out there, tipped up and knocked away, incomplete. Looking for the speedster Leary.
Yeah, I like the fact that they are trying to at least take a shot. And this pass kind of sails a little bit, but credit to Jace Wilson to stand in there, feeling the pressure, know you're about to take a hit. And he still gets enough on that pass to get down there. And, yeah, you see that pass just get hung up just a little bit too much there.
Quick recovery by Ahoya. Damone Green put the hit on Wilson.
Yeah, Damone Green, one of those guys that had one of the 7 sacks.
Possible targeting.
So we're going to take a look. You saw Wilson really get cracked that time by Damone Green, and they're going to take a look upstairs to see if possible targeting.
Yeah, that's kind of been the trend the last few years. Anytime that it becomes remotely questionable, it's automatically being reviewed anyway. But when it's something that, yeah, we need to stop the game, it's definitely something that they're going to take a look here and make sure they get it right.
Two aspects of targeting. Again, the defenseless player, which in this case, a quarterback in the pocket, is there forcible contact to the head and neck area? And is there an indicator there, LD?
Yeah, did he launch himself, right? And it looked like he kind of left his feet a little bit, lowered himself. That's the equivalent of launching into a defenseless player. Watch it here. I mean, I'm old school, Sean. It looked like his face mask was looking through the quarterback. So I think it's a legal tackle.
Just kind of becomes the question. Again, it does not have to be the crown of the helmet, but was that contact in that neck and head area? This is going to be really close.
Going to be real close.
After review, there is no foul for targeting.
Old school wins out, my friend.
Old school still survives from time to time. And it's good to, these guys taking a look at it and reviewing it. Because, again, it's tough to coach that, right? Because you don't want these guys to lose their aggressiveness, their innate ability to attack. That was a good play by Damone Green. He was one of the guys that had one of the 7 sacks a week ago.
Patiently waited his turn, his opportunity. Last year they brought in Coleman Coco, who made an immediate impact. Green, redshirt sophomore out of Houston. So third down. Rice has been aggressive on these third downs. They rush 4. Wilson gets rid of it. Just nowhere to go. Max Ahoya, real good series for the young player out of Hawaii.
Yeah, they really like Max Ahoya. He had a strong spring, very good training camp, asserted himself into that starting lineup a week ago, and he locked it down over there. And I'm looking up here from our point of view. I don't know where Jace Wilson could have went with the football. Every single person was covered. Man, I tell you what, this defense is playing very, very solid here this afternoon, this evening.
Third stop for Ahoya, second year at Rice. El Camino College in 21, then Fullerton College. Fresh with a dangerous catch, and he is tackled immediately. Terrific starting position for the Owls. Rice pitching the shutout early here from Houston.
The new 12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
Yeah, that's how I get by.
Well, an exciting era of college football as we move into the 12-team playoff. It now includes the 5 highest-ranked conference champions, the Power 4, Big 10, Big 12, ACC, SEC, and then the highest-ranked Group of 5 champ as well. They'll receive the automatic bids. The 7 highest-ranked teams remaining will round out the 12-team format. Top 4 teams earn a bye. Seeds 5 through 12 will play each other in the first round. The cool part is there's going to be some hosting on-campus playoff football.
I can't wait. I think it's fantastic. We're going to get finally the best 12 teams in the country playing.
Over the middle, wide open, tap dancing to 6 goes Matt Sykes. Touchdown, Rice.
I said it earlier, E.J. Warner, I'm telling you, he sees the field as good as anybody in the country. And he's learned this offense in a short amount of time. Now, I love the fact that they empty the backfield. So when they empty the defense, it really has to declare itself. And you can find the matchups you want. And there's a miscommunication on top of that in the back end, Sean. And then you've got a wide open Matt Sykes in the middle of the field. Touchdown, Rice Owls.
Do not go to on for the point after, and it is good. So E.J. Warner, time to throw, wide open. Matt Sykes, those two have certainly built a strong foundation. Kurt says, yeah, that's how it's done. Owls are rolling. wonderful day into early evening here at the Rice campus. Beautiful campus. As fans have been taking advantage of the sunshine, little break in the heat that they have been hit with, and the gorgeous skyline. It's all about the city of Houston tonight, and also next week. It's the big battle for the Bayou Bucket when Rice makes the journey across the highway to take on Houston.
Yeah, that's a big one. And right now, it is a perfect day of football. And now the Tigers need to find something going on here offensively. They cannot afford to, definitely not to do another 3 and out. They've got to figure out a way to get something sustainable and get themselves out of 3rd and long situation, because this Rice House defense, when they sense 3rd and long, they can bring all kind of pressures from all different angles.
7 yards of offense, 1 first down so far for the Tigers. This Rice defense has been flying to the football. Charlie Lewis, the transfer that we highlighted in the open. From the 25-yard line, they will run that jet sweep, and they just can't get to the outside. Marcus Williams, who's in there for the injured Play Wyatt, at the all-important Viper position with the escort.
Yeah, that Viper position, it's kind of a hybrid between a undersized linebacker and a kind of a big safety. And you look at Marcus Williams, 5'11", 195. He's got the speed to go with it. And really nothing going with that stretch to the outside by Trent Leary. And once again, this offense behind the chains, they cannot continue to survive like that, not having any success on first down.
Let's see if they can get their tight end involved. Jyron Johnson on 2nd and 10. They're looking his direction. Dangerous throw, and it is intercepted. Picked off by Tyson Flowers. Flowers makes a cut to the end zone. Pick 6 for the redshirt sophomore.
This is one of the Cardinals' sins as a quarterback. You can't throw off your back foot and late, and even especially across the middle of the defense. That's a big-time play. Tyson Flowers, redshirt sophomore, he's playing free safety, so he's back there just mirroring the quarterback, watching his every move. And at time, his discipline and paying attention led him right to the INT.
A lot of pushing, a lot of shoving after the touchdown. That's what we're about to hear.
Personal foul. Offense, number 16. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
How many times you get a personal foul called on a quarterback?
If you're going to get one, it's probably after a pick 6.
It's probably after a pick 6. I've been there. I know the feeling.
Tyson Flowers started a couple of games last year. Sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas. This is a secondary that has some depth, and they're going to need it with the injury to Play Wyatt.
Now look at Jace Wilson here. You see Flowers. He's sitting there, kind of disguising, but he's retreating the whole time. As a quarterback, you can't just throw it up there and hope you get somebody to catch it. You got to be certain about it. And Flowers disguising his technique, drifted back into coverage, playing that free safety role. And then you see how gifted of an athlete he is once he caught the interception.
He's a coach's son. He played for his father, Jeremy, in Fort Worth. Jeremy, an Arkansas legend, 43 games for the Hogs, and he had 7 picks back in his day with Arkansas. And Tyson with his moment to shine.
Yeah, look at Flowers at the top. He's right here, okay? Now, he looks like he may be a pressure player, but he's just kind of playing coverage, seeking back, and bang, there it is. And the quarterback didn't recognize the coverage on that, and he just threw an easy pick. Now all he has to do is just ride the convoy for a pick 6.
So after the 15-yard penalty, they will send the bouncing squib kick, and it is pounced on right at the 25-yard line. Texas Southern offense looking for some answers, and they're going to make a change at quarterback and bring out their youngster, the redshirt freshman, Jordan Davis. It has not been pretty offensively, and now we'll see if Davis, who is moments away from making his collegiate debut. It was a tight quarterback battle in camp. They had 4 guys really going at it before KJ Cooper emerged as the starter last week. So Davis will hand it off, and the hole opens up. Room to run, and a first down gallop for Danny Green. So do you like the change right here, a fresh look at quarterback?
I think you got to try something, right? You're down 28-0, and sometimes you just need a quarterback with a different lens, right? He may see things differently. I think that was a microcosm on that last play because he read the read option correctly, and when you do it right, you can reel off a big play. That's one of their rare first downs in this game, and you can see right there, just a different lens from a quarterback's view could make the difference.
Start at Fort Bend Marshall High School. Utilized his red shirt last year. Again, that read option. This time, there is no opening. Myron Morrison, who has a sack in this game, adds a tackle for loss.
Now, every quarterback, how they get acclimated into the game are different from quarterback to quarterback. Some quarterbacks like to get hit. Some quarterbacks like to run. And, you know, it just depends. I think you've got to let him call himself to say, hey, I am going to run, Sean, and just get him going into the game. He's been sitting for basically a quarter and a half. And so now you need him to step up and make a play from this position here.
See Jace Wilson. Wouldn't be surprised to see him back. Maybe just a series out to recollect his thoughts. Whistle before the snap. Play clock was winding down.
Delay of game. Offense, number 13. 5-yard penalty.
So what was your flow? You mentioned a quarterback has different ways to really try to get into the rhythm of the game. What was your philosophy on that?
I like to get hit. I like to go in and get it out of the way, right? You know, you're already kind of making sure you stay clean. You want to stay upright. I always had the coordinator say, hey, call an early option play or a bootleg or something that I can get out and get popped.
So after the penalty, a play fake. Davis had no time. That play, no chance. He was dodging missiles from the get-go. The first one through, Isaiah Floyd. He had plenty of help as well.
Well, I tell you what, all levels of this defense playing outstanding today. Myron Morrison there to clean things up as well. Banish, he's been disruptive. And Gabriel Taylor in your screen here, folks. He's a Jim Thorpe Award Watch List individual for this season. He's got all the talent that you want and that defensive strong safety.
Taylor, one of 4 defensive backs from the American on that Thorpe watch list. 3rd and a mile. And nobody home as the receiver went down. And looks like Danny Green is still on the turf. Oh, good to see him pop back up. He got tied up with some Rice defenders.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous that he might have tweaked something there, but it looks like he just got banged up. Good to see him go off on his own power. I think they actually had a play going. If he doesn't fall down and he can catch this screen pass on, he had a little room. It's a big offensive line. They're about 324 pounds per man, but watch how quickly they get out. So they want to go over here to get this screen because they just want to neutralize the speed of this defense. But watch him get tangled up by his own man. Yeah, right there.
It was big. Kalen Bryce on that right side. Inadvertently tripping his running back. Busy opening half for Avillard. Tyson Thompson, the return man, tells everybody to back away from it. Rice will continue to start in plus territory. Seems like every drive they've had in this second quarter has been on the Texas Southern side.
Yeah, it kind of makes the offense breathe just that little bit more. You have that much more comfortability. But look at this young man's numbers tonight. That football hasn't touched the ground much today. And what I always like about it, always in control. He always looks like he's in command. He's confident where he's going with the football every single time.
Now they'll reach into the bag of tricks. Little end-around action to Kobe Campbell, and he has the corner. Campbell in a foot race. Stutter steps to the 10 and is drugged down at the 7. 40 yards on the end-around to Campbell.
And it's a great call here. Watch pick number 77, Brant Banks, the second-team preseason all-conference player. He's out in front making a block, but you can see the speed. Kobe Campbell. They've got some guys that can go, but these big guys up here in front making it happen.
They go tempo for the first time. Back foot throw. It's the fullback, and he is hit immediately. Aaron Hargan. Check that's Goon with the grab. Go back to Brant Banks, who year 2 in this starting lineup, but a position change. He played guard last year, now at that tackle position for the first time.
And he's made a nice transition. I think he has the body to be the right tackle. 6'7", 325. That's a little tall for inside to be a guard. So I think this is a natural home for him. Very athletic to be that big.
Mature young man who was married this summer. One of 3 Owls who are married is married to the goal line is Dean Connors. He finds the end zone. And Rice has all engines cooking tonight.
This offense, you got to think to yourself, this is a get-right moment that they're having here in this first half. Everything that they're looking to do. Look at the hat-on-hat by the offensive line. And even when a defender made leak, Sean, just a little bit, Dean Connors is not going to be tackled by an arm. And he bounces that thing outside for another touchdown.
Second touchdown today for Connors. Yoda adds the point after. Rice extends the lead now, 35-0.
Yeah, they're on pace to get back to where they were last year in this same game. They won 59-7 last year against TSU. And right now, the way this is going, we may get close to that unless something dramatically turns around for the Tigers, but it's got to start here offensively.
Go back to what Rice wanted to establish all week long. They have one of their more physical weeks of practices leading into this game, and there was urgency from Mike Bloomgren and this staff, and the intellectual brutality, the term that Bloomgren copyrighted back in his days on the West Coast at Stanford. I'd say there's some brutality with those numbers.
Yeah, I love that branding with the football, and it's even better when you can live up to that expectation, right? You know, it's a physical, smart way to play football is the term of that, right? And they're doing that here in this first half especially.
Texas Southern program, part of the SWAC. Fresh off the 39th edition of the Labor Day Classic. Always a huge game for this program. And the emotional win they had over Prairie View A&M last week, snapping 9 consecutive losses to bring home the Nick Durley Trophy, which is named after legendary coaches on both sides. And we talked to Coach Disman. Do you allow him to celebrate a little bit longer than normal? He said the 24-hour rule became a 48-hour rule this past weekend.
I love that. You know, you got to let the kids be kids. You know, wins in the college level, at any level, I don't care if you're FCS or FBS, they're very difficult. And you got to allow these guys that put in their hard work. You know, they spend hours trying to go to class. You got to let them celebrate a little bit more. Second series of the night for Jordan Davis.
getting a crash course in this second quarter. He hit 6 minutes to play. Davis will throw it quickly over the middle, and a big-time hit is applied. Goodness gracious, you felt that all the way up here from DJ Arkansas.
Yeah, he made his career second start last week, and tell you the upside for this young man in today's defenses, he's the prototypical body, right? Just obliterates the pass catcher there. That's exactly how you coach this defense. Play smart, sound defense, and when you see a ball carrier, you just run right through him.
Mentioned the body type. He was brought in to be a safety, recruited as a safety, but every year he's moved closer and closer to the line of scrimmage. Second straight year in that middle linebacker position. Here they come again. Down goes the quarterback again. Man, they are just coming from all angles.
It's almost unfair. Ryan Smith, the defensive coordinator, he's been saving this one. This is a delayed blitz, so now you think everything's picked up, but here comes that last little wave of the blitz, and the timing of this is impeccable. And for a quarterback that's getting his first experience, that is so tough to pick up on the fly.
Blaise Tita, who we have seen now on a couple of plays in the backfield, his first sack. Avilar's punt. Tyson Thompson is hit immediately at the 46. Good special teams coverage that time by Texas Southern and Xavier Cately. Chris Dishman liking the effort from his coverage unit. Start number 2 for the E.J. Warner era here at Rice.
Yeah, anytime you can get the quarterback moving out of the pocket, that always is nice. But look the way he's seeing the field. Gets it out to his tight end in the middle. Now coming down to your running back, Connors. Let him make a play. This was the best throw of the night. I thought that pass there just shows you a little bit of his arm talent there.
Very efficient, 12 of 15. Dangerous throw here, and now a tie-up. And let's see, looks like Texas Southern has it. M.J. Henson, and he has the first takeaway for the Tigers.
Man, I can't tell you how good this play is. Oh, man, what a fantastic defensive play. I mean, he basically runs this route. Now, he's right here with Matt Sykes. When Matt Sykes breaks down, now he turns himself into the receiver. And, man, he goes in there and picks it off. That is as good of a technique from a cornerback that you will see at any level.
Terrific break, terrific read, the hands, and then the toughness to finish it out as Sykes was trying to claw his way back to the leather.
And you saw Coach Dishman. You know, he's a old-time defensive back himself. I know he appreciates that technique and result.
See if this offense can build on it as they try to stretch the field wide with Leary. And we talked to Coach Dishman now in that head coach role. We asked him, hey, do you still get involved with that secondary, hands-on with those D-backs? He kind of laughed. He said, no, I got good coaches handling that.
Yeah, you know, he really said that, hey, the coaches have to be guides. And he's trusting his coaching staff to do that, right? You want these guys to understand and continue to develop.
Davion Ford with his first carry, and Rice drops him immediately. Myron Morrison. What an NFL career Chris Dishman had. 13-year veteran, and we talked about why Texas Southern, and he said he was always inspired by this city. It's a city that treated him so well in his NFL playing days. And opportunity for change of culture, and he's going to get this thing going where they are going to contend for a SWAC championship, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. They've got the pieces of the puzzle together, but he even said they need to be just a little bit bigger in some certain spots on the offensive defensive lines.
Third down, they get it out to Johnson. Here's the tight end that they so love to find in the passing game. Marcus Williams with the tackle. To bring up a 4th and 2 for Texas Southern, so we'll see if they keep the offense out there as we hit 3 minutes and counting.
this is a no-brainer here. I think you got to go. Punting does you no good.
4th and 2.
I think you got to get your quarterback a chance to use his natural ability to run. I think you got to give him a chance to maybe get outside the pocket here.
I don't know if they got the timeout called on the sideline, that play clock winding down. They did not.
Offense, number 13, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, just a situation there, LD. You have a young quarterback, big moment. You lose track of time.
You know, it's so much as a young player. You got to make sure you got the protection right. You got to make sure you're recognizing the coverage, and then make sure your other 10 guys are in good position. But you got to keep mindful of the play clock, right? And that's the nuances of the game that he will eventually learn. But it's so difficult to learn to get thrown right into the middle of things in the second quarter of this game.
You can see his veteran tight end, Jiron Johnson, trying to signal for a timeout. They just couldn't get it. So now they'll send the punting unit. Avalar with the high kick. Fair caught at the 26. Little 2-minute drill for Rice. The Owls up big here in Houston. Changes this year. We just witnessed the new 2-minute timeout, just like the NFL, one-on-one communication with the in-helmet communication, and then tablets allowed on the sidelines for instant in-game video. 18 tablets here at the FBS level, one of those being utilized during that last break by E.J. Warner.
It's such a great advantage because now you can see what actually is happening on the field. You don't have to wait till a week in the film study. You can see it real time.
Opportunity to work the 2-minute offense. You see the patient run there by Connors as he was just following John Long, the right guard who opened up and pulled over that left side. Situational football now if you're Rice. Obviously the game well in hand, but this 2-minute drill, how effectively can you move the football with the 2 timeouts?
Yeah, this is the way they line up naturally. They always have 4 or 3 eligible receivers. Now they empty the backfield. And again, it forces this defense to have to declare and exposes what coverages they have.
Clean pocket, drag route, caught. That has been the pattern today, up to the 41-yard line, a gain of 11. That is Graham Walker, the transfer from Brown. Again, we talked about that connection, the Ivy to Rice. It's been very fruitful for this staff.
Yeah, they just feel comfortable. If they want to play big boy ball, line up with their offensive line, bring in a fullback, they can do it. We've seen them empty a couple of times in the success they have. Here they go again. And really, TSU, I don't think has an answer for this formation. It's been like 7-on-7 back there for Warner.
Quick throw near the sideline. Connors will get out of bounds. Up ahead to the 49, a gain of 8. Connors coming off a career high 9 catches last week. That was most among any FBS running back.
I love his versatility. You know, he's an excellent pass catcher. They can line him up. He's split out wide now, and that's what he's done the last 3 plays here in this empty formation. Utilize him all over the field.
Second down, Warner will dump it off. A couple of catches on this drive for Walker. And Rice content to nickel and dime their way down the field, getting out of bounds, stopping the clock.
Yeah, that's the thing. They still have 2 timeouts, so they've got a world of time right now, the way they're methodically finding the open receiver first and foremost, and these guys recognizing, okay, let me see how much I can get before then I can get out of bounds.
First down, pressure comes. Warner throws it, and it's incomplete. One of those rare times where Texas Southern was able to generate some pressure with that 4-man front.
Yeah, they're starting to platoon some guys on this defensive front. You mentioned, and Brian Booker, the sophomore, 6'3", 330 pounds. One of these guys that's one of the building blocks to the future of this defense. He's one of the rare times you mentioned getting back to getting pressure, but that was all predicated on the coverage on the back end.
See if the Tigers bring a couple of extra bodies here on this second down. They rush 4, it's picked up. Airborne near sideline, incomplete. He was looking for Sykes. Terrific coverage on the play.
Yeah, that's a really good job on the back end by the Tigers. I think that's the one time they fooled E.J. Warner into thinking something that he had. I think if he comes to Braylon Walker, Walker's running wide open in the middle of the field. But again, it's all about what he's seeing. Kind of goes back to the tablet thing. You know, they come back to that later on in the game. He will very well probably hit the open man in the middle.
Third down, quick throw. Walker with the catch, and he tumbles ahead to the 39-yard line. Javius Williams in on the tackle, back-to-back stops for the 5th-year senior. Derensborg was also there to help out. Now with Rice and the 2 timeouts, they're going to use a little bit of this play clock to wind it down, 4th and 3.
Yeah, they're not in any kind of a hurry. They still have 2 timeouts. I thought maybe they might have burned one, but looks like they're just trying to get out of here. 35-0 in the first half. I don't think there's too much you can improve on at that moment.
Rice, this is their first timeout. It will be 30 seconds.
Tuiasosopo and Mike Bloomgren talking about how they want to handle this using that timeout. They still have 1 remaining, 4th and 3 coming up. An offense that has produced 250-plus yards.
Black operator.
And it's been a real balanced attack.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And historically, Rice, since Coach Bloomgren has been here, and obviously Marcus Tuiasosopo has been here, they want to be balanced. Every team wants to be balanced. I think they got a little out of kilter last week. They only ran the ball 30% of the time. They threw 70%. That's not their game. And as good as E.J. Warner can possibly be, but they have to be balanced. Got to be that 45% run, maybe 50% pass, 50% run type game. And this offense can really be lethal.
Yeah, this is an offense that wants to start fast and then make you catch them. It was not the case last week with Sam Houston. 4th down, they swing it out. Yards after catching a first down. Kobe Campbell, and he gets out of bounds, stops the clock. Run down by MJ Henson, but a 4th down conversion.
Yeah, this is such a popular play that they've done the entire game. A little bit of a boomerang motion this time. He didn't go all the way across. He goes back the other way. And Kobe Campbell, we know how quick he can be. And that was almost like stealing there to get that first down.
Warner spreading the football around. 7 different targets in this first half. Again with a timeout to work. Double move, taking a shot, looking for Sykes. Can't make the play. Broken up by Xavier Blair. That's twice now Blair has made a terrific read.
Hey, you've got to give these guys credit on the edges. These guys, these corners, are playing pretty tough. MJ Henson, he's already come away with the pick. Now Xavier Blair, like you mentioned, Sean, making a nice break up there. It's the little things. Even when it's bleak, even when you're down 35-0, you have to continue to play.
Love to see the fight, the no quit from Texas Southern in this back end. Player his first year after transferring in from UTSA. They set up the screen. Connors working along the safety of the out of bounds area. And now Hardman threw a punch there, it looked like, at Connors as those two got tied up along the Texas Southern sideline and just losing composure. And maybe Hardman on the retaliation. Officials are going to sort this out.
It's always that second guy, right, that gets caught. It always happens like that.
There are fouls by both teams. Dead ball, personal foul, offense, 0. Dead ball, personal foul, defense, number 38. These penalties offset.
Well, good job there by the officials, the initiator and then the retaliator in this case.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. Both guys complicit, obvious there. Way to get a hold of it, official. That's the thing. You just got to keep this thing. You know, it gets a little chippy from time to time. I know how it feels when you're losing. All you want, your instincts take over to retaliate, but you got to be smart.
So 3rd down after the offsetting penalties. 3rd down and 5. 24 seconds to go in this first half. Walker in motion at the bottom of the screen. That's the direction they go. It's Connors, another catch, and he will get out of bounds at the 14. Pushed out by Isaiah Bogarty.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup here, and you still have that one timeout in your back pocket. You picked up the first down, so that's first things first. Now you got 19 seconds, so if you're really looking to try to put 6 on the board, which I know they are, you got to be careful here. Take a couple of shots. And if your guys get tackled, either not getting out of bounds or getting the first down, you got to be mindful either to clock it or maybe burn that last timeout.
Rice has been perfect on their red zone trips in this first half. 3 for 3. They'll try to make it 4 for 4 here as the pass is too far out in front of Connors. Again, that familiar formula, what's working, keep doing, and that's what they did there with Dean Connors.
Yeah, they're just putting a lot of stress on these linebackers to have to cover sideline to sideline. And what makes it difficult is that the linebackers have to go through traffic just to get to the flats to Dean Connors, right? And it's almost like a pick play. And it's worked well for this offense several times here in this game.
Like confusion for Rice, and to avoid the penalty, they are forced to use the timeout. That play clock winding down, you see the frustration from Tuiasa Sopo, and again, might not matter in a game like this, but those are the communication, the personnel mistakes that you just can't have come conference play.
Yeah, you want to be perfect in everything that you do, win or lose, right? Because it's the building blocks to a season, you know, and I credit the coaching staff to make sure the guys get it right. It's a coachable moment. and lining up is the first things first.
E.J. Warner lined up. 12th play of this drive. 2nd down and 10. Warner flush, rolls right, and he will just throw it away. Good coverage downfield. Nowhere to go with it.
Yeah, that's a really nice job on the back end. It's almost like this secondary says, okay, we know what they want to do when they empty the backfield, and they're staying at home, keeping everything underneath and up front. Really know where to go for E.J. Warner that time, and here we are again. You got a few seconds ran off the clock there. You're down to 11 in the game. That timeout is gone, so everything has to be either in the end zone, or if you can get up and spike it.
One note, they have changed it. Rice still with one timeout left, so they can go over the middle, and that's what they do with Grun, who makes the catch. A couple of players get tied up in the backfield of around the 20. Rice is going to stop the clock with 5 seconds to go. And 2 players literally connected and tied up with pads here. Maybe a face mask in the middle as they try to separate the 2.
You know, I've seen a lot of games. That is almost like seeing a unicorn. That rarely happens. Now, I've seen it happen more times than not, maybe in practice when you're doing drills and you're constantly banging, but man, that's a rare sighting.
It was Gabe Smith who was tied up with John Long, and good job by both players. When that happens, having been in that position, you just lay stationary. You don't want to move.
Yeah.
Don't move. I won't move if you won't.
Yeah, you good? You good down there? Hey, I'm going to be good up here. If you just stay, maybe we can wiggle this out. Hey, I'll loosen your chin strap.
That was that short drive over to South Main.
Well, Sean, I think that was a good drive. I think, you know, it had a little bit to clean up, and I think that's a good coachable moment. But for the most part, you want a chance to put points on the board, and they've got a chance to do that right now.
Enoch Goda trying to win the kicking battle here for Rice, and his first field goal of this young season is good. Tim Horn, the veteran, missed his only attempt last week. Horn coming off a season in which he made 8 of 12. So Goda, redshirt sophomore from here in Houston, given the opportunity, and he makes good with the chip shot field goal.
Yeah, you know, that's all you want to do, right? Every coach wants to end a drive with a kick, not a punt. And if you can do that and keep that mindset, no matter if it's a 4-minute offense to close the game, 2-minute offense before half, 2 minutes to go win the game, you got to execute, and I thought they executed well. And with that, you extend your lead to 38 now.
Adjustment time, teaching moments on the Texas Southern sideline. Rice, a return to focus and urgency here in week 2, and a nice bounce back performance, doing what they knew they could do coming in, and really just simply imposing their will both sides of the football in this first half of action.
I really felt that the Tigers were pretty confident. I think anytime you can win your first game, it's, you know, that lull between the end of the game, the last game you play the year before, you've got the off season, you've got the spring, you've got the summer, and then you got the fall training. A lot has to happen, right? A lot goes on, and so you're chomping at the bit to get to that first game, and they want it. And then you're feeling good going into the next week. You want to, you know, maybe shock somebody, right? You're coming up to play, you know, in an American Conference caliber team here, and just has not been the way they wanted to start this game. And, yeah, they've got a lot to clean up for this second half.
Jordan Davis will take a knee, and that is going to do it for this first half of football here from South Main and Houston. Rice up big. Warner a couple of touchdown passes. Connors has a pair as well. 38-0 Rice.
It's halftime in the American Studios, and we've got your top plays from around the conference.
Just go heavy at the line of scrimmage. Pull it. It was fake to right. Here goes Byron Brown. Brown on the far sideline. Byron Brown scampers to the end zone, and South Florida scores its first touchdown.
You see the defensive end just crashing in. That's actually the nickel, and Brown does a great job to pull that ball, take it to the outside. Yassine gets him a block to get him into the end zone.
Garcia back to the air. Has a man in the flat, stretching out, and just short stepped out of bounds.
After review, the runner did not step out of bounds. It's a touchdown.
Another tightrope walk look here for Riles. That was pretty darn good for the sophomore.
Yeah, excellent body control like we talked about. Look at our crew giving us a great look. Great job there by our crew, and then Riles showing the athleticism.
Benjamin after the line drive punt, trying to snake his way through. Benjamin to the boundary. Benjamin still on his feet. Touchdown, Tulsa. Camden Benjamin is a game breaker.
The tough mindset, running through arm tackles. Nice job by Tulsa blocking down the field. Watch another arm tackle. He is their best playmaker, and when you need a big play, that's what your best playmaker does. Touchdown, Tulsa.
Power. One-on-one has Monk behind her. Crossing and off the back of the foot of Ashley Henderson. You will not find a prettier goal than that. Outstanding service. What a finish. Here is another look. Oh, nifty touch with the right foot off the inside of the right heel. Oh, what a nifty move.
Play clock down to 1. Sawyer pumps, lofts towards the end zone, and it's picked off. Right into the arms of Rayshon Pleasance. He's still going. He's got green grass in front. It's a pick 6 for Tulane. And this Green Wave defense showing out in a big way. 100 yards to the house. Another look here.
It's easy, right? It's like catching a punt. Now, look at them turn to offense. Look at the blocks being made. Now they're showing some vision. He's just not trying to run out of bounds. I like greedy defenders. Get as much as you can. Turn on the afterburners. Cut it all the way back. Yeah, he deserves that touchdown. That was a team defensive touchdown.
For all things American, be sure to follow us on social media at American_Comp and stick around as we've got second half action coming your way right after this.
Just a gorgeous September evening here in South Houston. Rice putting on a show. They lead it 38-0 over Texas Southern here at the break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the first half highlights and stats as our coverage rolls on from historic Rice Stadium. Close to 300 yards of total offense. The defense with a pick six. Special teams playing well. A bounce-back performance from Rice here at the intermission. 38-0, the Owls with the lead. Sean Kinney, LaDarren McClain. LD, I'll tell you what, a lot of questions coming in. How would Rice respond after a disappointing season opener last week? Well, I think those questions have been answered.
I tell you what, the challenge was met this week, and the offensive line, I thought from the beginning of the game, set the tone. That initial drive, they were able to run inside. That really softened the interior of the defense, and then E.J. Warner just exploded, and he spread the ball around to Connors, obviously his two receivers, and Matt Sykes as well, and Walker, and I thought it was a very dominant display in that first half, and hey, they got to be feeling good about themselves now.
You can just see how much more comfortable E.J. Warner is getting with this offense. Just his second game since transferring in from the East Coast and Temple, and it was a steady dose of Dean Connors early early.
Yeah, this is the first drive, and this was just, hey, we're coming at you, and we dare you to try to stop it. And you can see the intensity, but this was the best pass of the night, I thought. That was outside the back shoulder fade, and you saw Wright pull that thing, Walker pull that thing down. It was fantastic, and here it is, Matt Sykes in the middle of the field. They emptied the offense, and the defense really didn't have an answer to keep track of the receivers, but the defense, I thought, played outstanding. They got a takeaway, and here's a pick six to go with it as well. They were dominant up front. That set the tone for the back end of this defense to really go to work. And again, offensive line play. Connors being able to field that and roll outside and bounce in to get into the end zone. A great first half for the Rice Owls.
21 touches last week for Connors, 12 touches in this first half, including the 2 touchdowns. You see the statistical discrepancy, just 8 total yards of offense for Texas Southern, who turned to a young redshirt freshman to quarterback that second quarter.
Yeah, it's going to be tough sledding. I mean, -4 rushing yards. They had to be nearly close to 100 yards, I thought, to be in this game to keep up. And really, when you look at third down, they really haven't really threatened to get a third down or 7 tonight. So they've got some adjustments to make coming into this second half.
Second half kickoff just moments away. The bands have entertained. Beautiful night here from Houston. We'll return to historic Rice Stadium after these words. This is the American on ESPN Plus. Beautiful night. Rice in control, 38-0. The glittering lights of South Houston, and boy, they've been glittering on the field. The Owls in a bounce-back performance against their neighbors from the SWAC, and E.J. Warner in that first half, 20 of 29, 189 yards. He threw the 2 touchdowns, was picked off once, but a solid first half for the transfer.
Yeah, I thought he looked in command, and I know he had the pick 6, right? And, it was kind of one of those things that, he probably wanted to have it back, and he went to the pad, probably looked at it and said, I needed to come off of that receiver, but, man, I thought he was in complete control of this game. He got the team in the offense in the best play against the defense, and he was nearly perfect through a good portion of that first half, 11 of 14 at one point. And his defense is complementary in behind that offense, and that's what you need, especially playing in the American. If you've got good quarterback play and you can run the ball with a sound defense, you're going to be tough in the American.
Tyson Flowers with the pick 6 for the Owls defense. They've allowed only 8 yards of total offense so far to Texas Southern. Rice deferred, so they will get the football first. Quentin Jackson to get his first touch of the night. Jackson from the 3. Straight up the middle, the speedster being held on to by that jersey, keeps his balance and is finally tripped up at the 29. A return specialist, one of the top return men in the American, doesn't need a lot of daylight before he can make you pay.
Sean, let me correct myself. I said Warner may have thrown a pick 6. He just threw an interception in that first half. Clean game. I thought he was very surgical. And again, when you've got an experienced quarterback, again, he played 2 seasons at Temple. And so he's prolific in passing the ball. Good to see him come out here to start this second half.
First down, cut back lane, and now off to the races. Connors, one man to beat. Dean Connors with the hat trick, number 3 for the senior.
Oh, that's how you get it going to start the second half, right? Do not let off the gas pedal. Here it is, good blocking up front. It's a little backside, Jared Long. He's pulling, he's the right guard. Really didn't have anybody to block. The damage was done. And the patient running and then the burst by Connors in that hole. And they gassed the defense for a big one tonight.
Everybody had Dean Connors circled coming into the season, especially the way he closed out last year. Just put this team on his shoulders, especially with the injury to JT Daniels. Now you look at what Connors did over the last couple of games last year. He put together a combined 260 yards, and those were must-win situations against Charlotte and Florida Atlantic to put his team in a position to get back into a bowl game for the second straight year.
I just like these guys that are just football players. We've seen him on special teams tonight. We've seen him catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's an exceptional running back coming out of the backfield running the ball.
Dean Connors, from JUCO playmaker to superstar to now a team captain this year for Rice. 71 yards to the house. His 3rd touchdown of the night. This offensive line took some heat last week after getting blown out by Sam Houston, so they were a focal point coming into tonight, and they have responded. Obviously, the addition of Chad Lindbergh and that offensive line, the transfer from Georgia helping out. Dean Connors, the big benefactor, over 100 yards.
Yeah, they got right quickly in 1 week, and it's come out, and they have looked very dominant, very impressive. You know, the pass protection I thought was stellar because E.J. Warner didn't get touched much in that first half, and then the run game has opened up with Connors there, busting off a long run there.
You know, you talk to the Rice coaches, they were not playing any games in our conversation. When they described their performance last week, all three, the offensive coordinator, the DC, and Coach Bloomgren used the word shocked.
Yeah.
They thought this was going to be a real physical Rice team coming in, and Casey Keeler and Sam Houston had other things in mind. And speaking of physicality, we pick up where we left off in the first half from Blake Banish.
Yeah, they've had a tough time blocking 75 in blue. He has been unblockable. Look at him here. Just a little sidestep. And the thing about it is, I don't think Reggie Neal even touched him. That's the thing. To me, that lets me, and you can tell me better than anybody, Sean. You played the position. That looks like miscommunication by the offensive line up front to allow one of the better defensive linemen to run free.
2 tackle for losses for Banish. Need to be on the same page, communicating, trying to slow him down. Quick throw out, near side, pass is caught, tackled immediately. Tyson Flowers the tackle, Trenton Leary the catch, and a third down.
And what I've been impressed with, even when the Tigers get a pass that goes across the line of scrimmage, the receivers are going right down. So even if they have a chance to maybe get the ball off when he's had time to maybe throw it, this secondary has been all over the place. And Tyson Flowers, he had the pick 6 in the first half, but he has come up and made some sound plays underneath tackling as well.
Jordan Davis getting valuable reps, the redshirt freshman. Came in out of the bullpen tonight. Jace Wilson started. He was pulled midway through the second quarter, and now we have a stoppage, and this might be another delay of game.
Number 13, 5-yard penalty, replay, third down.
So you take a look at this offense. Again, keep in mind, K.J. Cooper, the starter last week, played so well, threw for 180 yards. He was able to extend plays with his feet. He got injured late in that game in the win against Prairie View A&M. We have not seen him tonight. So Jace Wilson, last year's starter, gets the nod for offensive coordinator Stephen Smith. And then he gets pulled midway through the second quarter, and it's been the youngster Davis ever since. Jordan Davis trying to show you what he can do with his feet. He paid the price. Charlie Lewis wrapped him up down low, and then he got hit up high as well, coming in from that secondary position with Ty Morris.
Yeah, they got to find something at that position, the quarterback position. And, you know, I was really looking forward to seeing K.J. Cooper. You know, again, he's got the big tools. He's 6'5", he's 115 pounds. You know, he's played well at the junior college level. You know, has a little bit of that intangibles that you need to play at this level against the Rice Owls. And, you know, again, it's a week-by-week thing sometimes in college football. You just got to roll with what you have sometimes.
45-0 Rice. The Owls in this offense will go back to work when we come back.
12-team college football playoff begins December 20th on ESPN.
That's how I get by.
Representative for the group of 5 and their one automatic spot that they are guaranteed. Well, according to our college football writers, 7 of the 14 said the American will be represented with Memphis, while the other 7 votes go to the Mountain West. Boise State was 6 of those 7. UNLV, fresh off a 72-point showing today against Utah Tech, the other team to keep an eye on.
Well, you know what? I think all of this is a little premature, but I know we got to do it because a lot of football still has to be played. I think Memphis, I picked them to be number 1, but UTSA and Tulane may have something to say about it at the end of the day when the season gets through what they've got to do, because they've all got to play each other. But I love the fact that we're at least talking about it, right? We've got some other characters that can be in the bid to win a national championship.
Memphis winning earlier today, a convincing win against Troy, and they get back to the outside in this running game, and Atkins finishing the run. So we saw what the college football writers think as far as the group of 5. Now how about the All-State playoff predictor, and here comes the green wave. They gave Kansas State all they could handle today.
Yeah, I think Tulane, pound for pound, is one of the better teams in the country. I feel that. James Madison, we saw what they did a year ago. And Boise State, every year, they always seem to make noise. Ashton Gianti was fantastic last week. And, man, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a tight. And this thing could change 3 or 4 times before it's all said and done.
Yards after contact for Atkins. Another first down gallop as he takes it to the 27. Yeah, and you take a look at, the group of 5. How about the day today for the MAC? That's a conference we did not see represented in any of those graphics.
They can have something to say about it, and it only takes one of those teams from the MAC to upset one of these big-time schools, one of these SEC teams, if they can get in there, and do that. But, yeah, credit to them. They played well this weekend.
A couple of big carries by Atkins, 3rd straight touch for the freshman, and this time he is spun down at the line of scrimmage. Javius Williams, 2nd on the team last week with 6 tackles in on the backfield.
You got to still work on that defensive side. You can't look at the scoreboard right now. You've got to go out there and try to perfect your craft. And watch Williams here. That's a great job. See? The little things like that. When you're athletic, you just slide underneath of that block of the tight end. Make that play. That's the stuff that will jump out on film that this team can build on going into next week against Lamar.
Step right inside the block from James Falk. Play fake by Warner. He's going to throw, pass behind, juggling catch by Dickman. Then he lost the football, and it is scooped up. And the second takeaway of the night for Texas Southern, some late laundry as well. And now, the Rice player behind the action and behind the safety of a couple of police officers. He got caught in the wrong spot there. That's the center, David Stickle, the transfer from Florida State. That's not the part of the field you want to be all by your lonesome in.
Oh, wow. Well, if you are, I want to be as big as David Stickle if that ever happens. But I know that's not going to ever happen to me. But I think he could have taken care of himself. Yeah, you got a lot going on in this last play. First of all, was it a catch? That's my thing, because I don't think Connors really established himself with the pass. But we got a lot to sort out here, Sean.
So let's go back. First things first, was this a catch by Drayton Dickman?
Yeah, sorry, I said Connors. That 0 looked like a 6 from up here, but yeah. Boy, that is awfully close. Okay, he makes a heck of an effort just to corral it in. Boy, you know what? The ruling on the field was it was a fumble, right? And so it's going to be tough to overturn that, because he does make an acrobatic catch and gets it under control and goes forward, and then the hit happens simultaneously.
That was Williams who put the hit on. Back-to-back plays by Javius Williams, bringing his physicality and a lot to sort for James Jones. Then you had the extracurricular on the Texas Southern sideline as well. So let's listen in. This might take a while.
The previous play for catch on the field is under further review.
So as we thought, they will go upstairs and they will take a good long look to see if Dickman had control. Obviously, Chris Dishman hoping that the ruling on the field stands, and that's a fumble, and Texas Southern will have the football in plus territory for the first time tonight.
Yeah, and if you're Coach Dishman, you just want everything to something to build off of, and this is a moment where you can build off of, and obviously it may not get you to win tonight, but it can get you momentum going into the next game. And boy, I really think he gets that ball under control. He does make a move going forward, Sean. Therefore, it's so bang-bang. I do think the call is going to be tough to overturn, not being a fumble. That's a heck of a play by Dickman, though, because that pass was behind him. Just to be able to get that far is impressive.
So the ball eventually scooped up by Michael Akins.
Trying to rumble with the ball here. Akins not used to running. You see 92. You see Booker and Stickle. They're just battling all the way out of bounds. And it goes all the way across the bench, almost into the brick wall of the stadium here. And those two guys right there going at it.
Yeah, Booker was not going to stop until he hit that brick wall, one of those times where he had the leverage. Just a Southern Houston mess right now.
You have anybody run you out like that? Try to run you out like that, Sean?
I won't admit it on air. Let's just say that. So underneath, they're taking a look, is this the catch? And then if they decide it's not a catch, there's a lot of things to sort out as far as what the clock should be and the post-whistle flags that were thrown as well.
Yeah, thank goodness for this review, right? I mean these guys trying to get it right. Because it's tough to do with the naked eye. This game goes way too fast. Everything is bang bang, and it'll be interesting to see what they do with the extracurriculars going out of bounds here.
That's a real neat story. You saw Brian Booker a few moments ago, 92 in white for Texas Southern. He's a really neat story. Enrolled at Texas Southern, part of their aviation program. Wants to be a pilot one day, and he certainly nearly sent the Rice Center and to lift off there on that block on the fumble scoop. It's like the defense, though, Booker and company coming back out onto the field.
Yeah, Booker was a great football player in Mansfield, which is about 4 hours north of here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
After further review, the ruling on the field is overturned to an incomplete pass. Horse collar tackle by defense, number 9. Does not count. The UNS's, we have 2 dead ball unsportsmanlike conducts on Rice 64 and Texas Southern 90. Those both will count as their first. Those also offset.
Well, just like we thought, I figured it would only be the unsportsmanlike conducts that would stick. Nicely done, James Jones and crew.
That's a fantastic job of getting it right. And here we go.
You need a Rice degree to get through all.
I guess so. I would have never made that.
So after all of that, the offsetting penalties, catch that was ruled incomplete, and it's Warner and this offense right back to work where this all started at the 27. Atkins trying to follow that right side, and Texas Southern says nuh-uh, and the chippiness continues.
Yeah, that's one of the rare times this defense has done a great job in run defense. It's all about effort on that side of the ball. I know you're coached to do certain things, but a lot of times defense is instinctive. You got to react. You got to go to where your eyes are telling you to go from time to time.
Enoch Goda on for his second field goal attempt of the night. He was good from 24 earlier. This one officially from 43 yards. Kick has plenty of leg, and it is good. So Goda making a statement saying he wants that kicking job. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Out in front of Texas Southern, high-stepping their way to a Week 2 commanding lead. 48-0 Owls on top just a few moments ago. Enoch Goda looking good from 43 yards out. Fifth all-time meeting for Rice against a member of the SWAC. 4-0 coming into this evening. A pair of wins against Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M. Hey, don't forget ESPN Plus is the place to catch all the American Conference action this fall. ESPN Plus is home to over 40 college football games, 200 soccer and volleyball matches, including conference championships. Also, your home to All-American, a weekly show highlighting AAC football, airing every Wednesday at 11 Eastern. For more information and to catch all the action, be sure to sign up. It's espnplus.com/AAC. On first down, Texas Southern up the middle. Davion Ford gets a yard. Second down and 9. There's one of the transfers that Rice brought in this offseason, Michael Daly, coming in from BYU.
You know, you can almost keep your own graphic of transfers across the country As that's kind of the one stat column that you're going to have to start keeping track of is where these kids are starting to come in from. And the landscape of college football has certainly changed.
You know, that's what's so impressive with what Rice has been able to do. They brought in transfers, but boy, they don't lose a lot of guys once they're in this program. In fact, an NCAA low, just 2 players hitting the transfer portal after last season.
And that's the thing. You're trying to get these guys that transfer that have some experience. That seems to be the recipe of success.
Hit as he throws, and it's a strike up ahead to the 38-yard line. Boy, poised under fire that time as Davis finds Donald McKinney fresh with the coverage.
Sean, I can't tell you how good a throw this is. He knows he's about to get popped, and he throws it in the only place that he could place it for his receiver.
Texas Southern trying to go tempo. Looked like Ford nearly lost the football, repositioned his grip, gets 4 yards. Ty Morris, the tackle.
You know, I was a little shocked in that first half that they just didn't play the game on the field. I would have tried to slow this game down. I would have tried to at least run my running backs, maybe slow it down and minimize the possession of the Owls.
Again, trying to go to McKinney, and once again it is Sean Fresh. Well, you look at this Rice defense last year. Fresh, a 5th-year starter. He might have been their defensive MVP. The shutdown corner that teams tried to pick on a couple of years ago. He's a smaller corner at 5'9", but each and every week he would face the conference best. High ball downfield, picked off. Marcus Williams with the interception. Williams gets upended, lost the ball late, picked up by Rice, and the Owls secondary with their 2nd interception of the night.
And it's that Viper defensive player. I mean, these guys are all over the field. We talked about Marcus Williams in that first half, how he can drop down in the box and be a physical run defender, but he's outstanding on the back end as well, and he reads the quarterback's eyes.
Number 22, defense.
Now blocking the back on that return. Watch him here. He's sitting there in the middle of the field this time right here. And so all he's doing is just trying to stay level with the quarterback. Now he's drifting back because the quarterback's eyes went right to the left, and he just went to his halves and made the play. Again, you can see how athletic these guys turn in after they get the ball in their hands.
See Marcus Williams coming over, and look at that. The man he's replacing in that lineup, number 41, Clay Wyatt, who they lost last week in the second half with an injury. The first one to congratulate him. On the handoff, get into the outside. This is Quentin Jackson, as you're starting to see some of the backups now get reps for this Rice offense. Halfway through this 3rd quarter, up 48-0.
Quentin Jackson out of North Crowley in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. North Crowley turned it into a high school powerhouse in North Dallas. They actually beat the DeSoto Eagles last night. 2-time defending state champions in Class 6A in this state.
Drew DeVilliers in at quarterback. Another carry for Jackson, and this is what this guy does. Normally it's on returns. So electrifying when he gets the football, and Quentin Jackson can make defenders miss.
Well, the future is certainly bright. Dean Connors is going to graduate eventually. So they got to have some bodies to come in. Not only next year, but this year. You want to be able to have fresh running backs, and you want to keep Dean Connors fresh. So it's good to see Jackson and Atkins get some run here tonight.
Rice fans anxious to get their first look at DeVilliers. The RPO action. He'll throw on the run, and the sliding catch is made. It's Giovanni Johnson-McCray, his first catch of the night.
Yeah, DeVilliers, you know, I really like his measurables, 6'5", 220 so pounds, and you know, it's just natural for him because all these offenses across the country come out of the spread. You've got some element of that RPO game. So just that last play can show you his ability to read a defense, get the ball out of the belly of the stomach of the running back, and then snap that thing out to the side.
Busy drive here for Quentin Jackson as he takes it inside the 35 up near the 33-yard line. Jackson will go to the sideline, get a quick break. Christian Francisco will replace him in that backfield.
You still got some of your starting offensive linemen in the game. I think you got all of them, to be exact. Linemen definitely want to close this thing out. They want to have that momentum. They want to go by one beat on that offensive line.
First down, this is Francisco, and he has nowhere to go. Giving ground, and he'll lose a couple. Good job there defensively for Texas Southern. Isaiah Bogarty, he's played one heck of a game from his linebacker position.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if some of these defensive players, they're not first-team all-conference defensive players in the SWAC. I think they're that good. I think they've got a lot to learn. You got to understand some of these defensive kind of terminology is a little bit new. You know, some of these guys. So I think they got a chance to be really good on defense in the SWAC.
Illier slips free from one. Now he'll try to use his speed to get away from the rest. He is cut down by Kadary Simmons. While we're talking Texas Southern defense, one player we have not seen tonight out there is Jacob Williams, and he's their best defensive player, the preseason All-American, first-team All-SWAC linebacker.
Yeah, you know, he was one of our highlighted players, and you miss that kind of impact on your defense for sure. You know, had a great game last week, 7 tackles, had a sack against Prairie View.
DeVilliers looking at a third down and 8. Shifts Francisco to his left. They bring 5 on the slant over the middle. Pass is caught. Again, Simmons applying the big hit. That's twice now that Dickman has just been so courageous going over the middle and paying the price.
Yeah, this could be a look into the future. Freshman to freshman here. DeVilliers, that was a nice throw. He's got a defender right in his face, and he stood tall. But I'm telling you, Dickman showing you some toughness, hanging on to the rock there.
Had a really good spring, played well in the fall camp. Only played one game last year when looking at Drayden Dickman.
Is under further review for possible targeting.
So they are going to take a look that hit from Kadary Simmons to see if there was targeting involved. It's the second time that targeting has been a possibility, so James Jones will go back underneath to take a look.
I had a chance, Sean, I talked to some officials last season to kind of give me, okay, what are you thinking about when you want to possibly call a targeting? They told me, Sean, anything that makes you go, ooh, they're reviewing it. And I think that's a textbook tackle to me, that just by looking at that. But anything that goes, wow, that was a hit, they're reviewing it. And so you're going to see that trend continue more and more and more, because clearly in real time, that was definitely a play that made you go, ooh.
After further review, there is no targeting on the play. First down.
Yeah, just textbook in the violence of the sport, the velocity that Simmons popped Dickman, that's what caused that neck to jar back.
Yeah, it's a good play. Good defensive play. It was good catch, good throw.
It's a first down catch for Dickman. Rice sniffing at that red zone again. They've been perfect in their red zone trips tonight. 4 for 4, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. They run that jet sweep, trying to get it to the outside and bouncing ahead for a yard or 2.
Yeah, I really love it when Rice can go to that 11 personnel. That's that one tight end set with 3 wide receivers, run one running back. And, man, they can do so much out of it. They can obviously get the wide receivers to come in motion. They can do anything they want, play action pass. They can run. That's their base staple formation. They like to have that tight end and those 3 eligible receivers out there to make this defense have to declare itself as well.
A lot of youth out there. One freshman hands it off to another true freshman, and this is Atkins sidestepping his way. Finally, loses his balance at the 9, but another first down carry, and the Owls will have it 1st and goal as we approach 2 minutes in this third quarter. You look at the high school career for Atkins, and what a playoff run he had for Westfield. In 4 playoff games, he had over 1,100 rushing yards, including 289 in the championship game against Duncanville. Just a tremendous talent with a bright future here on South Main. Looking for his first touchdown as an Owl. He is snowed under at the 5.
You know what I like about him as well? You know, he's a smallish running back that you just think, hey, we're going to run him outside, keep him away from traffic. That's not the case. He's a very good runner in the big boy land, in between the guards and the tackles. He's solid, and I love the fact that they're continuing to utilize him that way.
Yeah, he's not afraid to go in between the tackles, those zone reads. Marcus Tuiasosopo kind of mentioned a Jamal Charles type when you watch him run.
Timeout. Rice. This is their first of the half. This will be 30 seconds.
Rice will use a timeout with 69 seconds to go here in the third quarter. And you see the lids tonight for the Owls, a little bit of a different look. They have the traditional R, but it's on the opposite side. And with the unique residential colleges that they have, there's no sororities, no frats, athletic dorms here on campus. Newly admitted students are randomly assigned to one of 11 residential colleges, which they remain throughout their undergrad years. Each residential college has a sign, and they range. You see the Hansen College right there, Baker to Will to Rice. 11 in all, and all 11 represented tonight.
I think that's pretty neat. I love it. Anytime you can do anything to your hat during a game, and I think it's awesome.
The different students from the different residential colleges proudly hoisting their colors here tonight. Second down and goal. Quick hitter, hitting that hole hard, and welcome to the big time, Tajee Atkins. For the first time as a Rice Owl, the freshman finds 6.
They're rolling tonight. Even with their young freshman, watch the push again by the offensive line. It's just a straight zone. It's a lead zone. You got the fullback in the game, Micah Bennett, number 49. He didn't really have anything to do. And you can see the vision by Atkins there. That play was designed to go a little bit to the left further, but he cut it back in the middle, and he got home for TD.
11 plays, 78 yards. Steady dose of both Quentin Jackson and the freshman Atkins, and Rice ups the ante.
Well, you know, getting to 55 points so far in the third quarter helps the scoring average. We kind of talked about at the beginning, every year, you know, for the third consecutive year, their points per game has certainly gone up, 21.5, 25.2, and then last year, 29.5. So, again, when you put a 50-plus burger on the screen so far in the game with, you got an entire fourth quarter left to go, that certainly pads the stats and helped that average go up.
What a moment that is to score your first collegiate touchdown. You remember your first one?
Hey, man, it's magical. It is magical. You're like, man, this is what it's all about. Now you got to continue to do that, right? You set a bar for yourself. But yeah, that's a well-deserved. I thought he's going to give them something that they need, right? You know, Dean Connors is everything they can possibly want, but he gives them a different look when you get Atkins back there, Quentin Jackson, just a change of pace. Congratulations to the first TD. Pretty good looking drive for
for those two freshmen.
Yeah, Dickman right there, too. He had a great catch on the drive.
Texas Southern, 30 yards of offense, 3 first downs. Jordan Davis, and now movement on that left side.
Yeah, that's the thing.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, Braden Kane, he's a freshman on that left tackle. And
please set the game clock to 1:04.
If you're Coach Dishman, you got to say, hey, guys, now we just have to work. And we've got to be mindful of the penalties, of the little things, the controllables, right? We got to be good at these things, even in spite of a 55-0 type game.
On first down, this is Ford, and then he is hit immediately. Once again, there's nowhere to go for these backs, no space to work. Rice has been very quick on the attack, and now their reserves getting in. That time it was safety Peyton Stevenson.
Yeah, they got a lot of good-looking football players. Stevenson from the Alabama area, or excuse me, from the state of Alabama.
Tough night tonight for Coach Dishman, but we both enjoyed our conversation with him this week. He talked about how Phil Bennett was so instrumental in his development. Phil gave him a coaching book that he keeps with him at all times, kind of goes through a checkmark list of items each and every day in practice. He talked about how his time with the Dolphins and Nick Saban, just watching him run the meetings the way he did, some of the different characteristics and traits that he has brought to his first opportunity as a head coach. South Main on a Saturday night. A beautiful Saturday night here in Houston. Rice having some fun. They lead it over Texas Southern. second straight year, Rice has put up 50-plus on their neighbors, Texas Southern, as we march to the fourth quarter. Rice 55, Tigers of Texas Southern nothing, alongside the Darren McLean, Sean Kinney with you. Rice hoping for a bounce-back game after getting stymied last week here at this venue to Sam Houston, a much improved Sam Houston team that is bowl eligible for the first time in program history, making that transition. Year 2 there for Casey Keeler and company, and they look the part.
Yeah, that's a good football team. I mean, they're disciplined. They're always well coached. That's a tough opening matchup for a lot of teams, and so yeah, that's good for this club with the Rice Owls to bounce back here tonight.
So with Rice in control in between quarters, as you see, Davis has popped, and then a couple of Owls collide, and it's going to be an incomplete pass. Jordan Davis, and his arm was going forward. But going back to the point, the two coaching staffs met, and they have mutually agreed to shorten this fourth quarter down to 12 minutes.
Yeah, I understand that, and we kind of talked about this, kind of a recent trend in the first couple of weeks of the college football season, and yeah, I understand it's not a conference game. You want to make sure you can kind of get out of here. I think everything is settled, certainly.
Yeah, Texas Southern, obviously, with lofty goals in conference play, they want to make sure that they keep everybody intact. Don't want to risk losing somebody here in this lopsided game. Off the return. Man, look at the magic here by Thompson, still going. So Rice will have it when we come back. Shortened fourth quarter here tonight from Rice Stadium. Presence here in South Houston. See the skyline just beyond historic Rice Stadium. Yeah, you see that Hilton right there. A beautiful view from my hotel room last night. They had the lights on here at the stadium. Fourth quarter that has been condensed down to 12 minutes. Both staffs agreeing to knock off 3 minutes. Rice 11 minutes plus away from even their season record of 1-1. Quarterback keeper here in a protective slide goes to Villiers. Villiers limited to just 8 games his senior year because of injury, but he had enough on tape, put it all together, that he was a big get for Rice looking forward.
Anytime you can throw 19 touchdowns in 8 games and nearly 1,900 yards passing, yeah, that'll do a little something for you, right? That'll get the attention of a lot of college scouts, and I think this is a great fit for him just for the simple fact of the versatility of what they like to do offensively for Rice.
Atkins will pick up the first down to the 33. Keep in mind, when you look at this Rice program through the years, they've had the success, back-to-back bowl games, but they have had somewhat of a revolving quarterback position. 15 different quarterbacks since 2017. You have to go back to Dreyfus Jackson, the last quarterback to start and make it through an entire season, and that was the 2015 year.
That's just a lot of turnover at the quarterback position, one way or the other, right? At some point in time, you're saying, okay, we need to try this guy. Let's see if it works. And I think with the transfer portal now being effective, the last few years they've been established at quarterback. Obviously, JT Daniels last year as well, and E.J. Warner now.
Boy, there goes Atkins again, and he has number 2. He's in for the touchdown. 33 yards for Tajee Atkins.
Hey, this kid can go. he has got some get up and go. Here it is. It's zone blocking. And he just is patient enough, turns on the afterburners, and basically goes untouched in the end zone.
You look at his high school pedigree, Westfield High School, there is just a ton of history with that proud program. 262 scholarships since 2000. 128 scholars over the last decade, and one of those players looking to make a name for himself, Tajee Atkins. The breakaway speed, his second touchdown. Rice just keeps pouring it on. After Rice was limited to just 3 rushing first downs and 47 net yards rushing, they have went off tonight. Over 300 yards on the ground. Young freshman Tajee Atkins with a couple of touchdowns. You saw that kiss. That's his 1-year-old daughter, his girlfriend, his parents. Talked about all the wonderful family support that he has here in Houston. One of the reasons he chose the culture of Rice, and they are having some fun tonight.
And rightfully so. This is what you play college football for right here. You know, you got a chance to enjoy this because the wars are coming, right? And you go through the American Conference, it's coming.
That wind has been gusty at times. You see it knock the football off the tee. It's playing games with you over with that monitor tonight.
I've been battling
that wind all night.
The whole game, Sean. They need to keep a stat on me on this.
Well, the wind did not slow down Dean Connors tonight. He really set the tone early on the opening drive.
Yeah, you could just see he had that determination, right? I'm confident he didn't feel good about his performance a week ago. And right off the bat, they feed him. They give him a chance to run tough in the tackles, but then they utilize him in the passing game as well. And here it is. This is his last run of the night. I thought it was a thing of beauty. Well blocked up front. And his vision and his speed did the rest.
Our player of the game brought to you by Memphis Tourism, proud partner of the American. You see what Connors did. 9 rushes, 12.5 yards per carry. Plus you factor in the receptions. He's always a weapon as a receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah, at 12.6 is impressive. As a team, they've been at 10.4 yards per rush as a team. That's incredible. 2.6 a week ago to now 2.4. I don't care who you play. That is the sign of improvement, and that has got to send a bunch of confidence in that offense.
His best friend, Luke McCaffrey, having some fun watching this one tonight. Luke getting ready for his debut tomorrow with Washington, the third-round pick, the explosive receiver who just missed 1,000 yards. In fact, Dean spent some time with Luke and Christian this offseason, very close. And, you talked to Dean. We were getting a good chuckle with E.J. Warner. I asked him, well, what was the main reason you came here to Rice? And he said, well, I love the culture. I love the opportunity to work the pro-style offense. And he said, I had a great chaperone in Dean Connors. But he did want to make the record clean. It was not Dean who ultimately made the decision for EJ to come here. Dean's claiming, hey, I brought EJ to town. You see the pressure. They're going to get to him again, sacked. Back at the 20-yard line, Damone Green.
I'll tell you, Blaze Tita has been all over the football game. He's been overshadowed by some of the bigger plays like the pick six. You've got the interceptions. You've got the sacks. 56 in blue has played a heck of a game tonight.
Side of the foot, and this one will go horizontally and skip out of bounds at the 28. Punt of 8 yards. Rice putting the finishing touches on this one. E.J. Warner and a lot of the Rice starters. 62-0 Owls with the lead. A little more than 8 minutes to go in this shortened fourth quarter. Started with 12 minutes instead of the traditional 15. Mike Bloomgren, year 7. Style attack, the upward trajectory for this program. Back-to-back bowl games. Looking for their 3rd straight bowl trip this year, which would be just the 2nd time in program history that's happened. Running over that left side is Coleman Bennett. So LD, you look at Rice, year 2 now as they get ready to start their adventure in a couple of weeks in the American Athletic Conference. It's the 4th conference for the Owls since they joined the old Southwestern Conference back in the day, in the 1915 years. And, the transition Conference USA to the AAC, pretty seamless last year for them.
Yeah, I really like the way that Coach Bloomgren has built this program, and him being a former offensive lineman, he's doing it up front, and when you can build skill guys around, you got a chance. It's a nice run there.
Untouched into the end zone goes Coleman Bennett. Bennett scores. But yeah, you look at the history of Rice. They are part of the Southwestern, then they go into the WAC for a few years, 8 years in the WAC, and then they found a home for quite a while in Conference USA, and now here they are, year 2 in the American Athletic.
Nothing like when you're trying to make a point about a program and they run off and another touchdown to make it 68, now possibly 69, but again, this is all about building a program to compete in the American, and I think they are doing it the right way. They've arguably got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We know that. And if they can get this kind of production out of the run game, I think their offensive line can compete with anybody up front. They can do things like this. I know they're not predicted high in the American to finish, definitely not in the top 4 or 5. But they definitely can make some noise and make it very difficult on some of those top teams. And again, once they get confidence, I don't think anybody's going to want to play these guys.
I asked Josh Piercy yesterday, what was year 1 like in this conference? Piercy had so much success in Conference USA, and he says, really not a big difference. He said, a little bit bigger up on the lines, but the physicality up a couple of notches. But he thought it was a pretty clean-looking transition for not just himself, but his teammates as well. And what a leader to gravitate to when you have a guy like Pearson.
And by the way, he's 6'2", 245 pounds, so it's easy to say for him to say, the size not a big deal. But aside from that, he's might be one of the more brightest, smartest football players that you will ever come across. And listen to him talk. I enjoyed it. I was blown away by he comes across like that.
Well, here's the schedule he's going to be looking at over the next 5 to 6 weeks. Houston, the huge game, the Bayou Bucket on the line. Then you have Army, Charlotte, UTSA, and then Tulane on October 19th. Army, a nice addition to this conference. And they scored some early points today. We saw UTSA go by the wayside.
Yeah.
Texas State was able to get them tonight.
And speaking of rivalry games, I know we'll talk a little bit more about Houston and Rice. That UTSA-Texas State game on I-35, that's big dealings. And that's a big-time thing. And Texas State Bobcats showing some noise today.
All right, let's put your Texas roots to work. Texas native.
Yeah.
What's the Bayou Bucket mean, especially for this part of the state?
It's bragging rights for sure, right? And, Houston has always been that one step ahead of Rice on the field because they've been in the Southwest Conference, and again, they've been in the Southwest Conference together, but they've been in some of these bigger conferences, and they've kind of been looked upon as the big brother, so to speak. And Rice has always kind of made it tough from time to time, but if you can win that game, not only does great things for the season, but from a recruiting standpoint too. I wish I could come back and watch it because, man, it'll be fun. It's going to be a fun one.
Now, this state obviously is so rich in football. In fact, you look at a program like Texas Southern, their first game out of the state won't happen until November. They will be in-state all the way through the months of September and October, and then they head to the Sunshine State to take on Florida A&M. The Rattlers taking on Miami tonight. So,
yeah. And as far as traveling, that's fantastic. You're a player, but then again, I remember, and you may felt the same way. I like to kind of travel because it was the you against the world mentality, and you didn't have the distractions that you had being at home. You got to make sure you got tickets for your parents and your siblings and your friends and all that kind of stuff. But when you're on the road, it's all about football.
Opportunity to really get close with your teammates, a bonding effort.
Food is always good in the hotel.
Food is always really good. Quintel Quinn, the ball carry that time for Texas Southern. So, Coach Dishman facing a little adversity tonight with this effort. Obviously not happy, fresh off the emotional, huge win against their rival. What's the takeaways for this program as they get set to redial in and focus because their goals are still well in hand?
From the short time you got to hear Coach Dishman talk, I think he's going to use this as, hey, now I got your attention. You enjoyed that win the week before, and you felt pretty good about what you were doing. You got a little bit of humble pie. And so now these kids have got to respond. Now it's on them. We saw Rice respond tonight. Now it's on Texas Southern to continue to go back and believe in what they're doing, what they're preparing for, how they're going to execute the game plan offensively and defensively. And now I think he's gonna get their attention on the ride home. And that week of practice, I would love to be out there just as a fly in a blade of grass to hear that coaching going on next week.
We talked about the 24-hour rule for a win. They turned it into 48 last week, and rightfully so. Enjoy the moment. Well, that could be said for a loss like this as well. 24 hours, then you just throw it away. You move forward.
Yeah, I think you still got to watch that film. I think there's some coaching opportunities there, but you burned the tank. You still got a chance to win the SWAC West, and that's what they're trying to do. But I agree with you, man. You gotta purge this thing, but you got to take something out of this to build on.
Unique when you look at Texas Southern, and before we could even talk football with Chris Dishman, as you see Davis find his receiver along that right sideline, pass is caught. Cordell Rogers, the tight end. Before we even talked football with him, he was talking about the culture change, and one of the first requests he put in was to get back to the community service hours for his team, and he had a number of athletes, including his star linebacker, Jacob Williams, put in 100 hours of community service in less than 3 months' time.
Yeah, I love to hear stuff like that because it keeps the players well-grounded. It's not always about you. You're the big-time college athlete. You're going to school on a scholarship. You got to think about those others that are less fortunate, and I think that gets you grounded. It makes you appreciate when you can go out there and play these games because you got people out there depending on you and counting on you. I think it's awesome all the way around.
Hear these programs talk about the servant leader. Well, that's a prime example of how you can do that. Jordan Davis with his longest run of the night. The young freshman thrown into the fire tonight. See the injured Owl, and that is Davion Hook. They want to keep this secondary intact. Again, the Viper play Wyatt out for an extended amount of time. Hook, who started the bowl game last year for the Owls, walk-on who eventually earned a scholarship, being helped off. Best looking drive of the night. They will stay on the ground with it. Quinn picks up 3. And we hit the new addition to college football with the 2-minute timeout. Break in the action. We'll have our closing thoughts from Rice right after this. Busy night of non-conference action across the American. Tulane falls just short of Kansas State. Memphis rolls. Army wins. East Carolina squeaks out a nice road win. Story of the night, though, right now happening with Bama and South Florida. Fourth quarter for the second straight year. The Bulls giving the Tide all they can handle. Alabama by 1. Arkansas State takes down Tulsa. North Texas with the lead. Third quarter. Louisiana Monroe. Runaway win over UAB.
You know, I felt that Byron Brown, quarterback for South Florida, he very well may be one of the best players, if not one of the top quarterbacks for sure in the American Conference. I think his ability to not only throw it, but to run it. And you can see, given the Crimson Tide, some fits there.
It'll be a good year for the quarterback in this conference once again.
You can always find those leagues, like what defines them, right? You can say, hey, you know, Southeastern Conference, it's a quarterback wide receiver league. I think the American Conference is turning into that quarterback league for sure, especially these guys transferring in.
And that was one of the big reasons Mike Bloomgren was so excited when he saw E.J. Warner hit the portal, because he had proven that he can produce in this conference.
You throw for over 4,500 yards in 2 seasons at Temple like Warner did. Let's get this guy in here.
Texas Southern keeping it on the ground. Jordan Davis loses his lid. And that type of night, here comes one last flag onto the field. Davis, the redshirt freshman, battling tonight, leading this Tiger offense since the midway point of the second quarter.
And it's such a tough spot to be entered to the game. Got a face mask here. It's so tough for a quarterback to be thrown into the game at that moment in time. But I will give him credit. He has not shied away from anything. He has tried to stand tall in the pocket. And he's running as hard as he tried to do in that first half. This is always in the point of the game, Sean, where you've got some of these backup defensive players in the game, and the first team defense is looking at them. Hey, you better not let these guys score. We worked hard to pitch this shutout. And then on the other side, offense, you're like saying, we need to do something to put some points on the board. So, see what this last 21 seconds will give us.
First trip into the red zone tonight for Texas Southern. Jordan Davis with some time. Floats, corner, touchdown. Hauled in, and the Tigers are on the board. Cordell Rogers. Something to celebrate for the fans who have made the short trip here to Rice Stadium.
Well, it's a lot of good in that play. And you want to talk about, there may be some questions about who's going to play quarterback for the Tigers, but I can tell you what, 13 just got a shot of confidence here. This is a beautiful pass. And how about the route run there at the top? He just kind of sailed it. Cordell Rogers, listed as a tight end, has a wide receiver body, but that's good for the Tigers there.
Dishman, the first one to greet his offensive line. Something to build on for next week. For Jordan Davis, his first touchdown pass of his career. Davis, 8 of 13 tonight, 42 yards. Rogers, the touchdown reception. 13 plays, 75 yards for Texas Southern to close out tonight.
I think that's all you could ask for, right? In this type of loss. Unfortunately, I've been in a game like this before. You got to be able to take something into that next week because, again, practice is already as difficult anyway, and it's always better after a win. But sometimes you got to be brought down. And I still believe that with Coach Dishman, and all that NFL coaching experience and the way they're trying to build their program, I think these kids will do well to bounce back next week. Now, is that going to equate to a win? I don't know. Lamar typically is really good. Matter of fact, they play Lamar on the 21st of this month. But, again, they got something to take away, and that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, they'll get their bye week next week, which probably comes at a good time, after tonight. Hopefully they will get healthy with K.J. Cooper and Jacob Williams on that defensive side of the football. Watch out, our fireworks might not quite be done. As you see Quentin Jackson take it out to the 45. That is a relieved bunch of Owls on that sideline. Just a sour taste in their mouth all week from last Saturday night. But all is right here on a late Saturday in South Maine. One knee, and that is going to be it. Rice picks up their first win of the season. They moved to 3-0 all-time against Texas Southern, 69-7. Your final score. Dean Connors goes over 100 rushing yards. You see the respect between these two coaches, Bloomgren and Dishman. Connors, for the third time in his career, over 100 yards, leading this 535